All right, I've got 3 boxes done, and I've glued them and I've stapled them. I've actually really enjoyed doing this. It's quick, it's super quick to do, super easy. And so now we've got 3 done. I've got 3 more to go. We're starting off with 3 supers per hive, and then we will grow the boxes as we go. And we'll add more boxes as more supers as we go, as we see fit. Everything's working really well, and we decided to get the boxes that were not made. They're not pre-assembled, simply for the fact you can save a few bucks. Not a lot, but you can save a few bucks, save a few dollars by making them yourself. And so why not do it? It's a easy task, and it's actually quite fun, very relaxing. And so yeah, I've got 3 done. I've got 3 more to go, and then we're ready for bees.
Hey everybody, so it's actually a couple days after I told you guys that this needed to come out. I did end up building the drainage that's over here. It's just the pail filled with rocks so that when the water runs, it runs into the pail, and then the water is now going down into the ground instead of actually running through the garden. The next job that we have is to harvest all of this rhubarb. It's a huge plant, and you can tell, like, when you go into it, it's just continuing to grow. It just looks awesome. So I'm going to harvest all the big stuff, and then we're going to dig this out, and I'm just going to clean up the pallet and that garbage that's there. And then we're going to plant the rhubarb along the edge of this garage. And I'm going to plant a few sunflowers behind it yet too. So it's just going to look really awesome. But yeah, it's just got to go because it's in the pathway.
Okay, I've completed putting the boxes together. Now I am going to paint them. So I'm just going to do
I've dug my 6 holes, and when I was halfway through, I realized, oh, I'm right underneath an eave and there's no eaves trough. And then Sheldon to the rescue. He's over there painting hives. Sheldon to the rescue. He's like, well, we do have eaves troughing. We could just put some in there. So I think that's what we're going to do. Something I'm super pumped about though, because this is right along the edge of the shed. I was worried that the soil was kind of going to suck. We keep putting fresh compost in here, but I didn't realize how good it actually was. So you can just see, like, it's just rich soil. I found lots of worms in it and stuff, and yeah, super happy with it. I was quite impressed. So we're just gonna start digging out these plants and start separating them, and then they'll be done. I have one plant dug up and there's all these roots attached to it. It's amazing. They're just huge root systems that come out of it, and they're yellow orange, almost like carrots. They're just a very strong system. So this right here, this is all just one piece, and now I'm going to split this down the middle, and then I'll just add all these little ones, because again, I'm making these 3 plants into 6, so I just have to actually just split them into 3 parts. So that's it. So something I do with the leftover tubes, the roots that are that came out, I just throw them in the hole and leave it there. And then I start putting in the plants. So what you want to make sure you're doing is that you're not planting any deeper than the plant actually was in the soil earlier. If you would put it up till that far, the plant will just rot away and die. So you kind of line everything up so that it's going to go into the soil, and it's going to be at the same height as the soil when you're planting it into the ground. So I'm just kind of lining them up that way. This is a pretty big one. I could have actually put more into the other hole, but I'm this far now. So once you have everything in, all the roots in at the level you want, you can just go ahead and shove that soil back into the dirt, or into the hole. So here you'll get a better picture of what I'm talking about. So I've got it all at ground height, and now you just start shoving that soil in around it, making sure that the roots are all covered. And there she be. And she will recover well. Right now she looks a little tipsy-turvy, tousled about, but it's amazing how resilient these plants are. You can probably hear it. There's a helicopter coming, and usually that's a bad sign. Usually that is stars. This very common flight path for them right here over our property. There it is. Yeah, that's stars. Oh Lord Jesus. Be with them and those that are suffering. How's it going, Sheldon?
Good.
Hey, we've got a chicken loose.
Yeah, she's been in for a while.
Trouble.
My last box.
Last box? That's awesome. Who knew that you could paint?
Yeah, sign me up. Jade in here I come.
Our son paints for a living. It's awesome, babe. There you have it. We can hear the helicopter coming back. That is always so concerning. Don't see them yet. Here they come. Now they're heading back. Reality is, excuse all the sweat and the dirt, it's a hot day, but the reality is that it could always be us dealing with an emergency like that. It's so sad. It's so hard. It's the reality of this world that there is pain and suffering and death, and there's accidents, and yet it's just so hard to imagine. Just the fear and the panic and the trauma that's going on in a bunch of people's lives because of whatever just happened there. There we have it. Now the path is totally clear right to the fence line. The rhubarbs are all planted. We ended up getting 6 plants. I definitely could have split them more. We probably could have had 12, but what's the point? So what I ended up doing, you saw me working on it earlier, is I went ahead and I laid down all of the leaves that I had cut off when I was cutting off the rhubarb, and I put it along the edge of the garage as well. The reason why I do this is because it's kind of like a mulch. It's a natural mulch, and it's going to suppress weeds, but it's also going to give the plant a little bit of extra shade, because obviously these stalks, they were in shade. They are not used to being in full sun, so that's going to be a bit stressful for them. So I just went ahead and I just littered the place with all of the rhubarb leaves, and I just went along and I did that around every single plant, and then along the shed. So next project is we have some sidewalk blocks. We're going to put them in here, and that's going to suppress those weeds there, and it's just going to give a proper step up into the door. And with changes like this, I had to redraw some of my plans. So I had originally created a pathway that was going to come center of the garden. So it would have been, you can see right there, there's going to be a path coming right from the driveway. It was going to go through that garden bed. It was going to go right through this garden bed, right to where I'm standing. But then we are going to turn and we are going to have a pathway that goes that way. And so I've been talking about it, that if we actually get to the point of milking a cow, I wanted to actually have a milking area right there in that door that we could go indoors for winter and we could milk the cows. And so we would need this walking path that the gate would open up like that, and the cow could just walk straight into the barn, the garage, and then walk straight out, and they wouldn't go into the rest of the garden. But now in this situation, now that we've moved the path isn't actually going to be coming here anymore. It is going to go through those two garden beds, and then it's going to jag over, and it's going to come on this side here. And this is specifically for the quad, so that we are going to have easy access into this gate.
Boxes are complete. Ready for bees.
This is a massive amount of rhubarb. I think I'll be reaching out to family because that's a lot of rhubarb to clean up. Pretty impressive for the first batch. We actually have never had an amount this much before my birthday. Before my birthday, which would be in 4 days from now. The day of my birthday, I usually will harvest my first batch of rhubarb, and I'll make a fresh rhubarb crisp for my birthday. And that would usually only mean I have enough rhubarb for one rhubarb crisp. This, I could make 12. So it's a totally different year. It's really impressive. I do plan on seeding grass or something like that over here, and then again having a patch around the well that is going to have the grass as well, because I don't want to have open soil. I don't want to be tilling it all the time, and I don't want to fill it with stones, because I just feel like stones just litter, like they end up in the rest of the garden, and then I'm just constantly raking stones off of the garden beds, and I just don't want it. I'd rather have grass that we just have living paths, and they're actually enriching the soil and helping with keeping everything hydrated. So that's what we're doing up until this point. And Sheldon did go through these gardens with a cultivator today. He deep-tilled that a couple days ago, and we have yet to do any more work on this next garden bed where I was just working on that. So none of this has been touched, and here, this is just terrible. So most of this is actually a weed. What do they call it in English? It's like a burning thistle, fireweed, something like that. You know, me being German, that's what it looks like. I call it Brandkraut, which literally means burnweed. And amongst all these thistles, we do have raspberry bushes. So right here you can see this is a raspberry bush. So I'm going to have to go through this all, and I'm going to have to find them and weed everything, and then find a mulch to put in there. So that area of the garden, you can tell there's a big difference. Last year I used healthy straw, and I used healthy straw in all of these beds, plus half of this bed, and you can tell this area here never got healthy straw. That's the difference that healthy straw makes. Healthy Straw is a local community, but it is local to our community, but they do sell worldwide, and it is a wonderful straw that is like acting as mulch, and it doesn't have a lot of wheat seed in there or anything like that, so you're not going to have any crazy sprouts or anything coming out like that. You'd also have wheat growing in your garden. It's just a very fine straw that works really well. Here you can see this is on my garlic, and you can see there are a few weeds there, but the reality is like that there's a dandelion right there, but majority of this is clear of weeds. But this healthy straw is from last year. It's not like this is fresh straw. This is what the garden looked like last year, and so we just went ahead and kept it there. Well, obviously you wanted to keep the garlic covered. So that just gives you a great idea. If you're looking for a really good mulch to put into your gardens, you want to use something like healthy straw, and I would recommend healthy straw for sure. You'll be able to find it in a local store anywhere near you. They're just going worldwide pretty quickly. It's pretty impressive. And Healthy Straw is actually the company that donates all of their straw to our community garden. And so this has been my first experience of the Healthy Straw this last year. And it's amazing the difference that it's even made in our soil. My soil can often be very clay, filled with clay, very thick, very loamy. But this soil actually is just, it seems airier. It's like adding sand into your soil. Like it's just a much nicer soil to work with. So I'm really excited about that. Very, very happy with the product, very happy with what it's done. And as you can tell, it makes a massive difference from year to year. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, you might have some limitations, but that does not mean that you're limited. Have a great day. Ended up with 45 cups of rhubarb. So that's 10 cup bags. And then I am making rhubarb sauce right here with the last 5 cups.